episode 89 of TerrorVision horror podcast, Splatter Chatter, an unedited, unscripted chat about horror movies. I'm one of your hosts, Jennifer Strand, and joining me is our very own limb collector, Dan McGuinness.
Good evening.
Good evening. What you been doing?
Oh shit, what have I been doing?
Yeah.
What's
going on? What's happening? What's the haps?
I didn't write anything in here. I just looked at to see what I typed as what I'm doing, and I'm like, oh fuck. I got a book.
Yes, you did.
I got this book, which is in my hand now, which for all the people that are listening, which is everyone.
Everyone.
You can't see.
I'll take a photo. You tell me and I'll take a photo.
It is from Boom Studios. It's a comic book and it's the archive. It's the Clive Barker's Nightbreed archive. And we're getting a photo right now as I'm talking about it. Oh, yeah.
Bam.
Done. And it's a big hardcover. And this collects the old, obviously, the old Nightbreed comics. And it also collects the 2-issue standalone story of the Hellraiser Nightbreed crossover story.
Yeah, right.
And I ordered this book so long ago. It never showed up.
Yeah.
And I just thought must be one of those books that just does
happens.
There's so much of that stuff happens in the comic book industry. And then I looked into it and I'm like, hey, that book's still available, and they just never sent it. And after some back and forward with the distributor and that, eventually they just sent it to me like a couple of years late.
Wicked. Well, better late than never.
But what's weird about it is, like, as I was saying to you earlier, Jen, earlier on this week, I actually own all these in issues.
Yep.
Bagged and boarded in a thing, that kind of thing. Even the Hellraiser crossover one as well. And I found them in a box, and I got one out and looked at it and went, oh yeah, and I've never read them.
Yeah.
Because like I got that collection when I was working at the comic shop before the one I own.
Yes.
And I got them, and I was always going to read them. I never got around to it. And I pulled them out the other day, and I read like the first 2 pages of issue 1.
Yeah. And
I put it back. And it was like, old, and they were creaky, the books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like 2 days later, this book rocks up, and I'm like, cool.
That's perfect.
I know, haven't thought of it in years. So I always like having my Clive Barker-ness stuff. And I love Cabal, like the original novel, which I'm always weird that they never called it Cabal, like the film. And I'm like,
I don't know. I think Cabal doesn't sound like something a lot of people would go see, but they'd go see Nightbreed.
Clive Barker's Nightbreed. I don't think they even call them Nightbreed in the book, do they?
I've never read the book.
Oh, the book's wicked.
Yeah.
The book's like that classic example of Clive Barker just like showing how gross heterosexual relationships are.
I love it. I actually have the book because I found it at a thrift store for like $2 not too long ago, and it's got a really nice cover. So I was like, oh, I'll read that. And of course it's just gone on my pile of shame.
Pile of shame.
Like,
it's not all about that, like the relationship thing. There's just a scene where like the one sex scene in it is like the most stupidest time. Like they're bleeding, they're dirty, they've probably got poo all over them, and they just decide, and they're in the middle of a battle, they just decide to have a sex scene.
Sure.
And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. It's probably how Clive Barker looks at it, at heterosexual like things. It's like, oh my god, it'd just be a battleground.
Love is a battlefield.
Yeah, I'd prefer to be rolled in excrement, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I've got that. It's it's written by there's lots of people because it doesn't matter. Yeah. I got that. That's what I did this week, and I'm excited to chill out and have a read.
Very good. Well, I'm on holidays.
Oh shit!
I'm on holidays. You are all lucky that I'm wearing pants today because I was almost going to be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm on holidays.
Just going to wear just underwear to my house.
Yeah. Oh, I wear boy underwear sometimes, so it's fine. It'd be like just wearing shorts.
But my boy underwear doesn't look like shorts,
doesn't it?
Oh, they are those little shorty things, but it looks like it'd be very short.
I feel uncomfortable doing that, so I had to put pants on.
I think the only people who wear them out in public would probably be weightlifters and stuff like that. When
probably
getting shown, like Ashraf.
Yes, you fucking Ashraf.
Fucking Ashraf. Ashraf, we're talking about there, is one of the people who do Comic Thoughts.
Yes.
Say it? Thoughts?
Thoughts, yes.
Which is a comic book podcast, Adelaide based. So if you like comic books, him, Sam Cripps, and Connor.
Yep.
Do it. So check that out if you want to. If you want to.
Yeah.
If you don't, keep listening to this.
Yeah, listen to this more. My whole week has literally been just working so hard so that I can not stress about anything next week, and I plan to do sweet fuck all. Like I've got
FA.
FA. Like I'm getting some Invisaligns put on Monday, so that's exciting. I'm gonna have a lovely little lisp for a few weeks.
The braces.
Yeah, my braces.
I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, they're not braces, they're Invisaligns. And then I'm going to attempt to cut through some of my pile of shame, see if I can read or watch or do something. But yeah, I just really need a break, so I'm really happy.
I always get that thing where I've got this sweet pile of shame. I get time.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to start it. You're like, oh, is it the right time to start it?
Well,
and what do I start? And then like just fucking watching, watching a shit TV show instead of doing the shit you
like I've got all these grand plans, except I will probably end up spending a week just rewatching The Office for the 50th time, or Seinfeld, or playing, because I'm playing Infernax at the moment as well.
You love Infernax.
I finished Infernax last night.
Oh.
But there's all this little stuff.
Did you have to look up any walkthroughs or how to get through?
I did, but there's you can't find anything. There is nothing on the internet for it. So Infernax is this 8-bit side-scrolling game, and
it's like set in the Dark Ages, but it's they've gone ham on the violence.
Oh my god, yes! And I
the
found
grossness.
This little...
It's kind of like Berserk.
Yeah,
if Berserk was an 8-bit video game.
So that's sort of entertained me for about a week now. But yeah, so I'll probably go back and see if I can unlock some behind the scenes shit and do some more stuff.
Oh, you're gonna you're gonna platinum it?
I'm gonna do it until I'm bored. So that could be anywhere between 20 minutes and a week. Who knows?
Very nice.
Yeah.
What are we talking about this week?
Well, look, this week I thought we would mix it up a little bit and play a fun game called Desert Island Horror.
When I saw that, I didn't know what it was. I was like, what? Is it, I thought movies set in the desert. Yeah, I'm like, is there any? I can't think of any.
I don't know. Well, I literally shot myself in the foot, because anytime. So basically, this concept is 4 or 5 films that you would take with you on a desert island, and why. And as soon as I pose this question, everything in my brain just disappears. It's like, what's a movie? What is a thing? And then I completely forget.
So
about everything.
I assume how I took it. I was like, these are the films that you watch more than once on occasions. They're comfort films. So if you're maybe doing some drawing, or you're working on something else, you can put it on in the background and it settles you. They're also the films that if someone comes over and you drop the film in conversation and they go, I haven't seen that. You say, oh my God, you haven't seen that?
Yeah. We're
doing a movie night, and you specifically set up a night for these films because you love it so much. That's what I thought these films are. So they're not the best films. They're just films they're comfort films that you think everyone should have seen, and you will show them to them. Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to be the best film or anything like that. It's just because, like you say, I was sort of in between, okay, do I go with what is my absolute all-time favorite? Because there are films in my rewatch I will watch them multiple times throughout a year, but I don't necessarily classify them as my all-time favorite films.
That's weird. Why would you keep watching them then?
Because they're comforting and it's fun to have on. But yeah, anyway, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so my first one is, I'm just going to do, mine aren't in any particular order.
No, neither are mine.
Kind of thing. So mine is from 2011, The Cabin in the Woods.
Yes, this one would have been on my list.
The disgraced Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, he got disgraced for fucking being
He's just a douche.
Yeah, he's treating women really, really badly throughout his whole career. Apparently. And he, to this day, denies that all of it happens, yet all the women say that it did. I'm like, the deny thing is always clearly you haven't learned from it.
No.
And which shatters me, because he does a lot of things that I love. I love fucking Firefly. I love his run on Astonishing X-Men, and I love this film, Cabin in the Woods. So it is always, fucking shattering when you find out an idol is a fucking shit cunt. But anyhow, Cabin in the Woods.
Yep.
If you haven't seen it, come over.
Let's have a movie night.
This is a modern take on horror as a genre.
Yeah.
Like, as in, it's kind of got the Scream vibes to it. It's a film about films.
Yeah, it's basically like tropes.
Yeah,
it's tropes of films.
By the end of it, you're kind of like, through watching Cabin in the Woods, it has changed the perspective of how you look at every other horror film you've looked at, because they explain that, like, what you are watching is actually this things that are happening in this.
Yeah.
So every horror movie you've ever seen is a documentation of this ritual that happens in this film, and it's just like, and they have a it's crazy. They have it like, you know, they have a. I mean, I don't want to spoil Cabin in the Woods in case
we've done an episode on it, so like. If you've listened to all of our previous episodes,
did we do a full episode
spoiled.
on it though? You know, it was part of another. It was part
of.
Was it?
Yeah,
I looked it up.
Sure.
I think it was part of when we were watching like 3 films at a time, so we didn't do the whole spoiler cast vibe on it.
Too many films.
We did 6 at one stage. We must have so much more time on our hands back then.
Yeah, I have no time on my hands. I love it.
So, Cabin in the Woods, for those who haven't seen it, is in a quick, in a nutshell, is like. A big organization. There is, if you look at it from this angle, it's very cool. Like, so there is a giant wide world organization that there are these giant fucking ancient gods that demand these sacrifices through these certain terms, and so the world's leaders have got together, and every year they create a series of events, which are the terms of these gods that need to have these sacrifices to, and they need a person which is like the slutty girl,
an athlete, a fool,
and that which breaks down into being like the cast of a horror film, and one of them has to have sex like for the first time, or and shit like that. All the tropes of a horror film, they have to find an object,
which brings forth an evil that they must try to conquer,
and consequently, and shit like that. There has to be a virgin who has to be the last person, the last sacrifice, and shit like that. And then you realise that, every film that you've watched has just been 1 year's worth of these like things. And like what makes it amazing, this is a comedy horror. So you've got fucking, what's his name? The guy from The West Wing, the main character.
I can't remember his name. He's the guy in Billy Madison, the bad guy in Billy Madison.
Yeah, he So you see this as this like organization that has to, orchestrate these events to happen, but it has to be always like not them forcing the people to do it. They have to all do it by their choice.
Yes.
So there's hidden cameras everywhere. It's all set up. They have to have they have to have the doomsayer, the guy that warns them, but they have to ignore the warning. And keep going. The person at the gas station goes, "Oh, the wheels are haunted. Don't go up there." Like they have to have that guy, and like as part of the ritual, and it's just fucking cool. All the bureaucracy of it and the office of it, like they have like bets, like an office pool on what they're gonna choose and all this shit. Like, is it gonna be zombies? Is it gonna be fucking like a haunted house? Is it gonna be haunted dolls? And they have a room that these people go in, which has every haunted item in it, and it just depends on whatever one they pick up, that becomes the one. And it's always in this cabin in the woods, I guess it starts, or you don't know. It's and every country does its own, so it doesn't matter who does it. So every country has a ritual set up where they're all trying to do it, and it doesn't matter who does it first, as long as someone does it.
Someone has to succeed.
There's like a German like branch. There's like a fucking Japanese branch. All the Japanese horrors come from there, and it's fucking wicked. And like, oh man, it's such a good idea.
It is a fantastic idea. Like this is probably one of the best horror films as a commentary on horror films.
The secondary one is kind of Scream.
This is just such an all-round perfect film.
And it's got gore in it, and it's got fucking Thors in it.
Yes, young Thor, he's in it. And
what's his name? Chris Evans? No.
Chris Hemsworth.
No, that's fucking Captain America. What's his name?
Hemsworth. Chris Hemos.
It's got the stoner guy in it, he's a wicked stoner. Yeah, it's perfect. It's such a perfect film. I saw it in the fucking movies. I couldn't believe what I watched.
I saw it at the movies as well, and because obviously like they were so good with their marketing that they really didn't push anything So you just thought you were going to go watch an Evil Dead type film. And then, of course, like, you're like, what is this? Why are these people in a fucking factory driving around talking about something?
Yeah, it opens with the most like
cabin in the woods thing.
Yeah, it opens
so
with
loud
them
on
just
the
like
screen.
the office dudes like getting to work in the morning, just having a work conversation. Like, you know, they're like getting their donuts and they're in the office. They got on a little car, but that doesn't matter. And then like it has this elongated conversation, which is very much what Joss Whedon's where his power was. He's very good at the conversation. The ensemble cast that react, that bounce off of each other. So he's got these two old office dudes that are chatting about, you know, this did this on the weekend and that. And then it comes to the end of the conversation, and then the title card of the film just comes up over it in big red writing, like, bang, as if it's scary, but like you just watch the most mundane like, bureaucracy
thing.
And straight away that sets the tone. You're like, okay. What the fuck did I just watch?
And then it just proceeds, and you, by the end of it, you're just like, what the fuck? This is amazing.
And every organisation wants to be the one who gets it first, like, you know, because it's kind of like a thing. And, oh man, it's just... Whew.
And it's like, as someone who's sort of like studied film, like studied horror and horror tropes, this one just sort of perfects it. Like there are...
Oh, it breaks out of it though. It's it's a commentary on the genre. That's what I mean.
Exactly, because they're like explaining at one point
and it ruins
that it's like,
it at the same
it has
time.
to be done at free will, but also free will sometimes needs a little helping hand. So they're like, we need them to split up. And he's like, guys, we got to stay together. So they just like pump in a little bit of gas.
Yeah, like you know what kind of gas it is, it just like makes you do a rational thought.
Actually, you know what? Let's split up.
And you're like, oh, that's why the people make the bad decisions in the horror films because they have this gas pumped in, like.
Yeah.
And they're controlling the situation like as much as they can without influencing what these people do, but they fully do.
Yeah.
But that mustn't be against the rules. They mustn't work. But yeah, fucking worth a watch. Like such a good film, and like I said, it's such a, I'd watch for. Got the greatest, like the poster, the cover is like a cabin floating, but it's like moved around like a Rubik's cube, and it has like a fucking payoff ending.
Yes.
Oh my god, the ending is it's like you, as a kid, it's like my dream of what I wanted to see. And like, whew.
And it's great because it
should have started with that one.
Doesn't set you up.
Ended with that.
You should have. Fuck. Anyway. Because like anything I say now is just not gonna like paling. It's paling in comparison. But my first one I'll do is Scream. Scream is like my ultimate film.
1996.
It is like basically the secondary most meta commentary on the horror genre.
There might be others out there, but I don't know. If you do know,
there is another one that's called You Might Be the Killer, which has the guy from the stoner guy from Cabin in the Woods. So we will have to watch that.
He got typecast as being like a guy that is in metaphysical horror films.
Quite possibly. I mean, look, we all know the plot line of Scream. Ghostface is like attacking some teens, and they're trying to. It's just one love of scary movie, one step too far. Blah blah blah. But what I love about Scream is. So this film sort of came out at the right time for me. Like I'd always had an interest in horror film and in that kind of stuff. But this was like the film that really just sort of kicked me in the deep end of loving horror. And after I saw this film, I just sort of devoured everything I could find. And luckily for me, I had parents who were sort of not too worried about ratings, so I could pick up an R-rated film, not a problem, as long as there wasn't any sex in it. It was fine.
Yeah, that's right. I still remember vividly remember seeing Scream for the first time. I saw it after school.
Yep.
So I didn't see it in the cinema.
No, me neither.
I saw it after school. I was in high school and I went back to my mate's house. He lived right near the school, I just remember watching it there and just being like. At first, I didn't know if I liked it because I thought I was still like very anti-society at that time. I had the more punk attitude, shaved head, skateboard and shit like that. And I was like, is this just like a fucking, mass-produced, teeny whatever fucking bopper thing? And I didn't know what I was watching, but I remember enjoying it a lot. And then I really enjoyed the video shop guy.
Yeah.
which is basically what Scream is, which is what. So Scream 1 to me is like the video shop guy.
Yes.
And everyone else is normal in the film around him. Where the new Screams, I mean, even the latest Scream, everyone is like the video shop guy.
Yes.
You know, which I was like, I did love all the new Screams. I'm only talking about 4 and 5.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? The first one is like grounded in reality. As I think Ross the other day, like he was talking about it. He goes, "Yeah, I watched Scream 5, but no one reacted to anyone dying in it."
No, because
he thought it was like
it's something that everyone is so used to.
Yeah, but like the new characters wouldn't be used to it.
No.
And where he goes in the first Scream, which he watched recently, he went like everyone gets really upset when people die because like an actual person has died.
Yeah.
And I think, and there's funerals and stuff like that, and it's just like. Yeah, I know, but I still fucking love the last one.
Oh, the last one was amazing, and I could talk about that for hours. We could do a whole episode.
But I don't think it's worth, like, I don't think it's worth not liking the film because of that. But yeah, Scream 1, though. But Scream 1.
You're 100% correct, because, like, one of the things, and I was thinking about this on my drive over today, is, like, back then, you didn't have the internet like we do now.
The internet.
So you being, like, this weird, geeky movie guy, you've got the information, you're that guy. Information is now just so readily available to you that you don't become that guy that's got these weird, cool, quirky movie facts because you watch a lot of films and you're really into it. Everyone just jumps on Google.
You read a Reddit thread.
Yeah. You just
actually,
Google it. It's fine.
I mean, and that's what they addressed in the new one without spoiling 5. Because 5 is too... You can't spoil 5.
No.
That's too early.
No.
But the commentary on horror within 5 is through about the internet and stuff like that. Yeah, which is
That's
and
fine.
actually it was good. I was like, oh yeah, cool. Like, you know, you've put your new spin on Scream for Scream 5. But yeah, Scream 1, great film.
Oh, it's great.
Still
film.
great.
I love it.
I always think about when that girl gets caught in the roller door.
Yes.
Like such
so
a weird like.
But even then, like
I just feel it wouldn't have killed her. I just think it wouldn't have even been able to lift her.
I think it would have broken. She's pretty top heavy.
It's true.
But like,
she had a lot of hair.
You've got Drew Barrymore as well. They put like one of the biggest, most well-known celebrity, like teen celebrities at the time, and they put her in the beginning of the film and kill her off.
And she was on all the posters.
And she was on all of the marketing. So straight out, you know.
To me, though, I don't feel that was a marketing thing. I feel that was just like they couldn't afford to have her anymore and used it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like she goes, "Yeah, I'll come down for like 3 days."
Yeah, you've got me for 3 days. And they're like, just take all these photos and just do this. And it's like, oh, okay, cool.
But yeah, definitely a good one to have in there. That's why I can see why you started with that one.
Well, I can always watch Scream. Like I think I will watch Scream at least once a month. Scream or any one of the, no, not 3, never 3. I'll put any of the Scream films on. Like that whole franchise for me is just perfect.
Yeah, and to me, Scream is you. Like when I think about Scream, I as in like it's your generation, like perfect generation. It is like, yeah, you're obsessed with the horror film. Like it is a very gen thing, which I knew straight away that would be on your list.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Yeah, how could it not be?
There's one on your list I don't even know what it fucking is.
No, that's all right. We'll get to it.
My second one is The Army of Darkness, which we did as an episode last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, this film, bang. I've got, for the people who don't know what it is the third installment in the Evil Dead kind of. It's not theoretically Evil Dead, but it is. You know what I mean? Like,
it's there.
It's not called Evil Dead Army of Darkness. It's this, you know, it's a TV show called Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yes, it is.
And then. Wasn't this called... I swear this was called Ash versus the Army of Darkness at one stage.
Maybe.
Or maybe it was like... Maybe that's a comic I'm thinking about.
It could be, actually,
They had Ash versus the Reanimator, which is pretty good.
I'm going to need that.
Oh, really? Did not know they did that.
No.
None of this shit's available. This is all those like...
come on. I love the Reanimator.
This is like the Hellraiser comics. All these rad things aren't available at the moment.
Like, that sucks. Because I just got notified that my Herbert West action figure was not coming.
Oh, dickheads.
After like months of it being delayed. So devastated. I'm going to need some Herbert West stuff.
You need some herb. Smoke some herb. So yeah, Army of Darkness, 1992. I have, apart from I used to watch this film religiously because I was already obsessed with the Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2. Then this came out. I saw this one in the cinema.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. And fuck, man, That hole, they put him in the hole, and that start, and it really sets the tone of the film of being fucking stupid.
It is.
It's more comedy than horror.
Yeah.
With the skeletons like, let's get the hell out of here, and just shit like that. And just so many quotable lines in it, like they're not even just like Bruce Campbell's lines, like all the other things, like we got plans for you, girly girl, and like all the skeletons lines, all the Henry the Red, like fucking like sword boy, and that guy is yelling out sword boy, and then the guy comes out with the sword and just kicks him away, like just everything in it. It's just a good comedy, like with a decent amount of violence, not as much violence as Evil Dead 2 and 1, which I always was kind of like a little bit cut up about. Like they could have.
Well, you want the balance, but I guess if you're making, because this is it's not part of the same company that made it, right?
It's Sam Raimi though, isn't it?
It is Sam Raimi, I'm pretty certain.
So that's but when you think about it, when you look at like Bad Taste, and Brain Dead and that, it's got that. It's just like he's just rolled a bit. He swung the pendulum a bit more towards the comedy side of it, and stuff like that. And maybe the studios, maybe it was more violent, and maybe they just can just pull down the violence a bit so we can get a better rating. And he's went, yeah, fuck it, this is fucking funny.
I feel that Army of Darkness is more. I mean, I'm not going to say it's more popular, but it's more sort of.
It's accessible.
Yeah, it's more accessible than the others. I think that would have had an actual wide distribution.
Or maybe, the fact they didn't have Evil Dead in it, the name. I mean, it doesn't have to be a 3. It doesn't like feel like it's like hanging on the end of Evil 3. It's its own name.
Yeah.
So, and people could come in at fresh.
Yep.
I mean, and it just starts. It just tells you the ridiculous starting and the best fucking animation sequence. Like,
it gives you everything you need to know. So it could literally just be at just a standalone film.
Or does it? Am I thinking of Evil Dead 2, the start? I can't remember the start.
Well, now I'm perplexed.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I should know. I only watched it last week.
Oh, really? Did you?
Yeah, we did it last week for an episode.
No. That's in a week's time.
Doesn't matter.
It's
this
fine.
is after. Doesn't matter.
No, doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine.
Anyhow, Army of Darkness. Love every bit of it. Like the I have vivid memories of watching this before school.
Yeah. You loved it that much?
Yeah, I get up and I remember like putting it on before school, and we had like a carpool kind of like, you know, I lived in a great street with like 30 kids on it.
Awesome.
And there was like 3 kids that used to come to my house in the mornings, and my mum would drive us to school, and I remember them coming over, and we'll be watching it before we left for school. Like, just fast forwarding it to the best bits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because you
didn't
have much time. You can that dialogue heavy shit. No,
you don't want that before school. You want the fun stuff before school.
But the other line is like, he wants spikes, give him spikes. Like all those lines, which I say so often in my like.
Well, we've also got like, because Bridget Fonda's in this, isn't she?
Is that her?
Yeah, Bridget Fonda. She's the girl at S Smart.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so she's not the main, like the princess. She's the S Smart girl.
Well, it had those 2 endings.
Yeah.
Because the ending one that we always had here, that I only saw the secondary ending way down the track. Like, I didn't even, because it didn't come out here, and there wasn't any internet much at that time. So you just didn't see shit like that. If you didn't have a copy of it, you couldn't watch it. So yeah, our ending here in Australia was like, it cuts to him talking, like, you know, he says the words or whatever, he comes back in time, and it cuts back. The whole film is just him retelling it to a fucking a clerk at the S-Mart.
Yeah.
And and that's it. And then a monster comes in and he shoots it, and one of the Deadites, and he gets the girl and stuff like that. She just runs up. And then the other one is he slept too long, and he goes to like a post-apocalyptic future. Yeah. And he goes, oh my God, I slept too long. And that's just where it ends. And I actually liked our one a lot better. Yeah. Because it has that scene where he's shooting her with the gun, the what are those shotguns that have the lever action shotgun? Yeah. And he uses like 30 bullets in one gun. It's just, it doesn't make sense. And it's wicked because it's just comedy. Like, his gun just keeps firing, and clearly no gun could have that many shotgun shells in it.
Well, this is also where we get this is in that, isn't it? It's the shop S smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get like that famous quote as well. And that, I think that becomes more merchandisable than some of the other stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Oh,
see that on
definitely.
everything.
Digestible.
Yeah.
You know, he gets a robot hand in the Dark Ages.
Yep.
Doesn't make any sense, and it
that's
makes
the
like
thing that happens.
hydraulic sounds.
Yeah.
Crafted the
Well, how
goblet.
else are you going to know it's a robotic hands? Like, if it doesn't have those sounds.
He's got the groovy. Yeah, this is where this is very carried by like Bruce Campbell's like character in this one. It's just he just plays a fuckhead.
Yeah. Yeah, we start to get the Bruce, the Campbell action.
Yeah, like he was okay in Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 1. He was nobody. He was a drink of water.
Yep.
And then like you got a little bit of it in Evil Dead 2, but by Evil Dead 3, he's just this jaded fuckhead. It's wicked.
Acting a damn fool.
Yeah, what else we got?
All right, so my next one is Bride of Chucky.
Bride of fucking Chucky.
Bride of fucking Chucky. So I put this on my list.
Is that before Seed?
Yeah, it's the one before Seed. So this is the one. There's been like years between films, and they basically Jennifer Tilly is introduced. She sort of is like this witch. She finds his body, brings him back. Turns out she's his ex-girlfriend, and he kind of like turns her into a doll, and then they just sort of go off and have a doll horror adventure, trying to find 2 new bodies so that they can turn themselves back into humans and live their lives out as like hot young people. So this film for me is like, it was one that I remember watching a lot because it came out in 1998. So I watched it a lot. It's just like one of those heavy rotation films. So it's become one of those comfort films. If I don't know what to put on, just chuck on Bride of Chucky. You'll be fine.
I like number 3.
You like number 3?
In the army can. Yeah. I don't know why. I think it's just the one we had.
Yeah.
And yeah, with the fucking Grim
yeah,
Reaper that cuts
this is
his
the
that
one I
fucking
had.
cut his face off
Yeah.
thing is so good.
Well, so this one had John Ritter.
And number 2 is the best.
Number 2 is the best. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and you don't realize that until you watch them all,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh yeah, cool.
So John Ritter's in this one. It was one of his. He just had this this bit part as like the cop guardian of the girl, who's played by Katherine Heigl, who it's like that's her first starring role was in this film, and she's fucking such a mole. And he basically gets like shot in the face with all of these nails, and he's just like
Pinhead.
dead in the back of the car, just covered in nails, and they don't even realize. So he's missing, he's on the news and all this stuff. So all this stuff is happening, and then they find the body, and so they're sort of sitting there thinking like, well, you've killed him, you killed him, who did this, who did that? But it's just like, it's funny, it's graphic, it's got everything you kind of want.
Comedy horror with
Yeah.
gore. Yeah. And you got Chucky, the
Yeah.
voice man.
Yep, Brad Dourif's back. And Jennifer Tilly, she's now obviously like a huge part of the franchise. She's in the TV series that they've done as well. They brought her back, which everyone was really happy about.
Is she a doll?
Yeah, so she plays
doll?
she plays Tiffany, she's the doll. But then of course through like Seed of Chucky, she's now Jennifer Tilly playing Jennifer Tilly, pretending to be Tiffany. Yeah. Because I can't remember Seed of Chucky. All I remember is John Waters is in it, and I love John Waters.
Oh, Seed of Chucky. I had that on VHS. That's the
Yeah.
one where they have the kid. It was like Bowie.
Yeah.
And he's
This is
like-
Glenn
he-
or Glenda.
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
basically has like he has a what's it called a identity crisis.
Yeah.
Which is also that horrible thing of like doing the old like only people that are crazy do the dressing like the cross dressing
Well,
thing.
I think
or
as well because
trans thing.
like I can't remember for the life of me who created it, but he's also part of the like LGBT community as well. So I think
really?
that's
So
why.
it's a commentary.
Yeah, I think that's why he sort of became like, even in the new series, the Chucky TV series, which is
Does that have their son in it?
He's not in it. I haven't seen the last couple of episodes. I'm still very behind, but like he's referenced. So like he's talking to this boy who is like, he's obviously queer, gay, whatever. And Chucky's just like, yeah, it's fine. Like I've got a queer son. It's fine.
Oh, really?
He sits there and he talks about it. So
nice.
He's not paying out this kid. Like this kid's sitting there thinking that this serial killing doll is going to like give him shit for liking boys. And he's like, nah, just.
It's Chucky friendly to some people, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose when you got time, he can't just be a killer the whole time. You have to give him a bit of.
manipulate. You got to subtly manipulate people.
Oh, is it like a kid? He's just making out he's a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch it because I've heard it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not great.
It's-
you're not gonna bring it to your island.
No, I'm not bringing it to my island. No. I haven't even finished it. That's how great it is. Like, it's not grabbed me enough to have to get through every episode and find out what happened.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I'll
That
get
happened to
it.
me with Peacemaker.
Oh, yeah?
I watched the first episode. And that was pretty good. Never went back.
Yeah, I haven't even watched the first episode. That's where I am.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Bride of Chucky. It's a comfort film, bringing it to my island.
Yeah, no, why not? So my next one is Beyond the Black Rainbow from 2010. Now, this film does not rub everyone the correct way.
It does not, but you need a little bit of elevated horror.
Yeah, I suppose it is in the genre of elevated horror, if you will. Which is it just Scream that popularized that term, or was that before Scream? Scream 5. I'd never heard it.
I think Scream 5 is kind of just really kicked it into the
ethos.
But it was. I don't spend a lot of my time focusing on what.
Because we
young
have
people
talked about quotes elevated horror before, but we've just I've always called them like smart.
Yeah.
Like smart or thinker's man horror.
Yeah, the thinking man horror. Well, because basically anything made by A24 is.
I know. I call them high concept. That's what I use. I was trying to remember what I call. Yeah, high concept horror.
Yeah.
I think high concept is heaps better than what do we got?
Elevated.
Yeah, which is the same kind of thing, but high concept.
Sounds better.
Well, it is what it is. Like elevated horror. It sounds like that it's shit and it gets better.
Well, for me,
it starts on floor 1 and goes to the high floor.
Well, it's because horror is so subjective. Like, to me, it's making it sound like it's just better than any other horror. Like, The Witch is better than Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Slumber Party.
Is it? Like,
it depends what you like.
Exactly.
Anyhow, which is like, bring it back. I like Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Yeah.
So Beyond the Black Rainbow is itself a fucking roller coaster ride of fucking soundscapes, set in the 70s, but made in 2010. It has the feelings of it's its own kind of ride. You know what I mean? It invoked sounds and feelings in it, and visually it is crazy good.
Oh, it's stunning visually, and the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like all this like kind of industrial. There's a word for that. I don't know what it's called, but like soundscapes. Like there will be like a 30-second shot of like you won't even know what it is. It'll be. Like they've set up all these rooms, and it might be a room that has one red wall, and then in the middle of it is a pyramid made of white perspex, which has a light in it, and it's just that, and it's just like with this sound that's just going, and you're like, cool. This is definitely I put in the background.
Yeah.
It has like beautiful shots, terrifyingly weird stuff. It is about an organization called Aurora. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of like a colonist thing that you go to get experiences, like experience life out. Basically, they just take these like mind-enhancing drugs, which is like you get submerged into, and then you come out, but they're actually doing tests on people, and it's just, and like I said, it was made. Oh, like I said, the creator is on record saying like, I just wanted to create a film that I was that kid who went into the video shop when I was younger that used to just look up at the horror section. I was too young, and it was this world that I didn't understand.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make a film of the film that me as that kid thought those films were like. And so he's made this thing, which is his own thing. Like, so it's what the fucking 8-year-old him thought those films were going to be like. He made a film of that,
and that's insane. If that's how his brain works, you're like, okay, so he is just like living on another plane of existence.
But when you do think about it, think back. It's real hard to think back to that time. I remember thinking like, oh my god, what are these?
Yeah.
Things that I'm so obsessed with and attracted to. Like, I can only look at the back cover. There was no internet. There was
Yeah.
no. All you got was these tiny little thumbnails of like whatever they chose to show on the back. Fuck you, Roadshow, with your no pictures on the back. I know you never read the blurb.
Yeah.
I just looked at the pictures of every
But
single
that's
one.
the thing, like imagery is such a huge thing because like a lot of like I was listening to someone talking about how people get into the occult and Satanism is through imagery. Like you look at all these like lithographic photos and drawings of all this stuff and you're like, shit, that's cool. I want to find more like it. And then through that you're finding and then you start to learn about something and that's how you get into it. And it's the same with horror. Like you get into horror because you pick up this VHS cover that looks insanely cool that you've got to watch it. And then
a lot of the time it was disappointing.
a lot of the time it was just terrible.
It's just
but,
a good
you
cover.
know.
But it's the same with like metal music.
Yes.
That's basically. I'm sure no person that's into metal now got into it because they heard metal before they saw a metal album cover or a T-shirt.
Quite
they just
possibly.
went, "Fuck, that's sick."
Yeah.
I know I got into Iron Maiden because I thought Eddie was cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, fucking yeah, Eddie is cool.
And I just like saw those like the cover of like the Seventh Son of the Seventh Son of like, you know, Eddie with he was like a half a corpse floating with his fucking holding his guts. It had like a person you could see inside of it, and I was like, it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, you think
and then you
about-
listen to it, it's this guy going rock ballad. Like,
Exactly,
it's
but
not
you
even
also
metal.
think about Misfits.
Yeah.
What do you know about Misfits? Can you name like
Glenn Danzig.
I mean Glenn Danzig, but like they're marketable because the Fiend is the Misfits.
Yeah, I'm sure they
That
haven't
is-
done a horror film of him or something.
Actually, well, the
There
Fiend
was.
is based on a serial from the like 30s or 40s called The Crimson Ghost.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll-
well, actually.
Well, actually,
But yeah, so like you know, people pick up on the Misfits because that's the imagery for that is something that's very well known to everyone, and I guess that's how people get into the Misfits. It's how people get into different bands, movies, etc.
Fair enough.
Interesting. I love it.
well, that's Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you haven't seen it and you feel like you want to watch some high concept shit or some elevated shit in an elevator that gets taken to the top floor,
Yeah.
it's basically what it is.
Actually, Will's keen to watch it. I was having a chat with him the other day because he's been listening to some of our episodes.
Really?
Yep, he's gone. He was in quarantine, and I
Just-
think we were of
And
comfort.
he missed your voice. He just wanted to hear more of his work, mate.
He wanted to hear some friends.
This is
yes.
Jen's boss.
Yep.
Claire's my wife.
Yes. So he listened to the episode where we did Under the Skin. So he.
Oh, that movie's great.
Yeah, he loved it.
High
It was
concept.
high concept. So yeah, I think this.
Did he go watch it?
I believe he did watch it, and he was saying to me the other day that like Beyond the Black Rainbow is on his list of things to watch.
The problem with that is I think Under the Skin is more accessible
Yes.
to more people than Beyond the Black Rainbow, where
Yeah.
Beyond the Black Rainbow is that thing where I can just keep watching it, getting more out of it. I'm getting more out of it. I'm creating more things that don't exist within it. Like I'm
that's
reading into
fine.
it so much that clearly the film guy did not. But that's why
Who
that's a
cares?
good rewatch. Yeah,
That's a great rewatch.
and but I think he should have watched them the other way around.
Yeah.
You should
Well,
always.
I've got a copy of it, so I will hand it to him.
Have
and
you?
Let's see.
I've always wanted the soundtrack.
Yeah, I want the soundtrack. It's kind of hard to track down, but I want it.
Do you know
anyway,
they released it in VHSs? Like
Yeah.
the guy, Beyond the Black Rainbow came out first on VHS apparently.
I love that.
And fucking shell ones that super rare. That would be great to get. I remember, and at the time it was accessible. I could have got it,
Yeah.
and I just didn't because it hadn't grown on me when it first came out.
But you never realised.
enough.
Yeah.
But I kept going back to it and I kept putting it on, and I was just like, oh my god, I fucking love this. I think.
I love this, I think.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay, so I've got Alien 1979 on my list.
Really,
Yep.
Aliens is so much better.
Look-
I said it. Oh, look out!
Look, it's fine. Aliens, I haven't watched Aliens nearly as much as I've watched Alien. I've watched it a lot recently because Liz, her favourite film is Aliens. So I've had to watch it a few times. But yeah, this is just an absolute classic sort of slow burn sci-fi horror that is just iconic and something that you can always just revisit. Like any, scrolling through the channels it's on, I'm going to watch it. It's one of those, it's another comfort film, but it keeps you more entertained and it sort of leaves you feeling like you're a little bit smarter for watching it.
It looks great.
It is.
I always Aliens as well, and Alien. Like, you look at like the ship, and everything just looks great. Like it's just like, oh yeah. So I played Alien Isolation again recently.
Yep.
But when I say again, I mean I picked it up and I started it and got about a quarter of the way through and stopped playing it again. Yeah, I always for the first 20 minutes of that game, I just look around because I think like, look at this. This is so much like the film, like, and that weird like vibe of in the spaceship. It's got puffiness to it, like softness, as if like. And I'm like, oh, why is that? That's a bit weird. I'm like, well, maybe it's because of zero G gravity and they knock into shit, so you make it puffy, like a couch.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I'd do it.
Why wouldn't it? They if we're going to float around somewhere, why wouldn't you make like our floors are carpeted? Why wouldn't all of it be carpeted in case you knock into it or something?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Look at those space stations in real life. They don't look very comfortable.
They do not. It's not very homely. Like, you'd feel pretty shitty all the time.
I never understand the alfoil in space as well. I think it's like for heat capturing or
I think
cold.
it's something
I just
to do
don't
with
understand
that.
it.
No, it's like when they put alfoil around you when you're cold.
Yeah, those thermal alfoil sheets. I mean, they must work. 'Cause why would they not do it?
I don't know. But this is just one of those films that it is probably one of on everyone's list of 100 greatest films of all time, and why wouldn't it be? It just does everything correct, and came out at the right time, that it just sort of pushed sci-fi horror into a new direction that everyone sort of was trying to reach for.
And you got Giga doing the design. Giga or Geiger. He says his name is Giga, but like that's his accent. So I've always said Geiger.
Yeah, well that's how
HR Geiger.
Geiger. It sounds better than HR Giger.
Yeah, and I mean that. I'm not sure like what his how popular he was before that. No, probably as an artist, I think he was still pretty popular within the art scene, but that brought him to more the masses of people knowing who he was a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, you see lots of video games coming out now, and they're all sort of like influenced by him.
Yeah, so definitely. And the dude, like crazy influence. Like that whole look of that biomechanical shit like that they've done in so many films is just him.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at his work, like even before Alien and all that shit, it's just him.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
But yeah, so you've got this film, and the main protagonist is Sigourney Weaver. So you've got this strong, badass woman. So if you're sitting on a desert island feeling pretty shit and like you can't do anything or get off, you watch her and you'll be like, I can get off an island. If Sigourney Weaver can take on an alien in space, I can get off a desert island.
Or at least I can get off on a desert island.
Either or.
Exactly. Nah, good one. What? My next one, theoretically my last one, is Videodrome.
Yep.
I always call it drone. Okay. I've got a friend who's got like an Instagram account which is Videodrome, which I think is like Velodrome.
Okay.
Video, yeah. Anyway, Videodrome, 1983, fucking Cronenberg. Had to be a Cronenberg on the list. And if it's going to be any Cronenberg for me, it's Videodrome. This is another one of those I consider to be a high concept horror.
Yep.
I'm not using that other word. I'm off it. I've always used high concept.
Elevated horror.
Probably not as much as like... Yeah, this is a high concept horror, and the elevated horrors are the new kind of what are they called?
A24,
A24 films. Like, I think the elevated horror is a new genre.
I think so, yeah.
Where the high concept ones are the ones I'm talking about. Black Rainbow, Videodrome, other ones.
Yeah.
Babadook.
All these.
Oh, no, that's a new one.
No, that's elevated horror.
They even mention it being.
They do, yeah.
Videodrome, 83. Like, fuck, man, this film is it for me. Like, this is the amalgamation of the idea of a media going outside of more than what it is, like that whole thing of like, characters that have only exist on VHS within the film, and they've recorded every possible answer and question to every question, and their whole life is a gigantic room of VHS tapes, and everyone thinks they're alive, but they're just VHS tapes.
Yeah.
But he is real. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just shit like that existing on another medium. That kind of Neil Gaiman thing, approach to, like, if you create a character within a story, it exists.
Yep.
It exists somewhere. Whether it's in your mind, it's still theoretically that character is real somewhere. If enough people are reading a story, enough people see a film and think about that character, what is the human soul? After you die and people think back at you and remember you, what's the difference between that you being real at that point,
Yep.
as in a character that's made up and they're thinking back to it?
They talk about that a lot in paranormal research, and as much as you don't get into
Activity?
it, but they can as in like paranormal researchers, they talk about manifesting. So like you can go, so there's like a magician that has a show in like a haunted motel or something, and he talks about manifesting. So like they'll start telling stories of these ghosts that don't exist in this building but now somehow exist, and people will say that they've seen such and such.
It's always the white lady walking down a hole.
Well, there's always going to be a white lady walking down a hole, but yeah, so like the manifestation of something, if enough people believe in it and think about it, it's going to happen, right?
Yeah, or maybe Department of Truth style.
Yeah.
The more people that believe in something, the more evidence manifests itself into reality of it becoming true, which might be real. That might be a thing.
Maybe.
Whew. Yeah, Videodrome. That went fucking off the rails, didn't it? Videodrome. It is about it's about a guy who owns a cable TV company, and he's looking for something new, something fresh, and he comes across this broadcast that gets recorded off from a signal of the show called Videodrome, which when you look at it, it's very Hellraiser-ish. It's basically kind of like, it's like a snuff film. It's like real people getting hurt. For some reason, he gets obsessed and thinks he can show this to the media.
Why wouldn't you?
Play it at a late slot kind of thing. And he's delve into the breaking down of reality of this thing, and from what I remember, I get more out of this film every time I watch it.
Yeah,
we've talked about this on episodes, and then they find out kind of like people that have seen Videodrome. Once you've watched it, an episode, it kind of creates a cancer in your brain, and then which gives you hallucinations. And then they put a camera on your head, a recording device in your brain. They record your hallucinations or whatever, and that becomes the next episode of Videodrome. And then they push out, and it's like or some shit,
or something to that effect.
Like I still haven't. I think I'm so obsessed with Videodrome is because I haven't worked it out yet, and I think that is a lot of the rewatchability. So I could sit on my fucking desert island and try and work it.
Yeah, what else you got? What else you got?
And it has those lines, like death to Videodrome, long live the new flesh. Like that line, yelling that out earlier. I'm like, it's the best line I've ever heard in my life.
You just be standing on the mountaintop of this like desert island and be like, long live the new flesh.
Yeah, go down that rabbit hole. If you're stuck on a desert island, you might as well start believing that shit. But yeah, Videodrome. It's one of my island picks. If you, as I said, these are our big picks. So if you guys haven't seen these, have a watch.
Definitely.
It'll definitely. I mean, mine is very that list. I'm looking at it now. Like none of them are really like each other, eh?
No, they're all very
I definitely
different.
don't have a style. I just think I love the best versions of shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just gonna love I don't have 10 zombie films on my list. I don't have any zombie films. None of us have any zombie films.
No. Or werewolf films.
Oh, werewolf films. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I was going to put on another one of my ones, which I forgot to add to this list, is I'm going to mention it I've got some honourable mentions.
Yes, you do.
Which I will bring out, and it's just a list of other ones that I want to talk about.
Definitely. Well, my last one is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. So
I don't fucking know what that is.
All right, so this is more of a hagsploitation film. So it's basically like Umbrella's The Horror. It's for its time, so it was released in 1962. So it's celebrating a big anniversary this year. So basically, this film is like Joan Crawford and Betty Davis at their pretty much like the ends of their careers. So they're older women now, and they have had a Hollywood feud for decades. They fucking hate each other. And finally, these two women have been brought in to do a film together. And it's essentially two aging actresses. One of them is in a wheelchair, and one of them is absolutely insane, and she's played by Betty Davis. She's the sister. She's looking after her crippled sister, but she's such a fucking asshole. So she will bring her in lunch, and it's like a rat on a tray, making her eat that. She's locks
like
her in the room.
Moonlighting her. No, gaslighting her.
Yeah.
Moonlighting her?
But she's so cooked that
Bruce Willising her?
Yeah. So she's so cooked that she believes, because she was this child star back in the vaudeville days, and now she's like this elderly woman in her like mid to late 60s who still believes that she could have the career that she had as a child because everybody loved Baby Jane. So she's just like delving in deeper and deeper into this madness of her being able to do this but not really, while she's also trying to look after her sister, and her sister's trying to escape. She can't leave the room. She's basically trapped in this room, trapped in this house, and trapped to the mercy of her sister. But this is like probably one of my all-time favorite films, and I will watch it frequently. This is like the best desert island film because it's got like such quotable moments. So it's like that. It's like, oh, you wouldn't be treating me this way if I was in this chair. You'd know it from Seinfeld. But you are in that chair. That kind of thing. You'd be on a desert island. You'd be slowly
Is that a Seinfeld? Oh, yeah, right.
That's referenced in Seinfeld. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was from this. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I like this film mostly because it is insanely well acted, and you're sitting on a desert island, you're going into like madness, you're just start acting out Baby Jane quotes, Baby Jane moments. You're going to be great. This is definitely a film that I recommend everyone check out at least once, especially for the feud itself, like knowing how much these two women hated each other doing this film, and the fact that they fucked with each other on set as well. They're so petty. It's brilliant. Two of the most well-known actresses of their day acting like a bunch of fucking kids.
In real life.
In real life. So, like, there's a scene where Joan Crawford, she's made her way, she's, like, dragged herself down the stairs, and Jane finds her, and she's meant to, like, pick her up and sort of drag her across the room. Joan Crawford put a bunch of, like, heavy bricks in her dressing gown so that she would be a lot heavier to move.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That kind of stuff. Like, there's a scene where I think Betty Davis like punches her in the face. It's a real punch. She really punches her. It's fantastic. Like, yeah. I will always watch this film again and again and again, and I would have to have it with me on my desert island for sure.
I may have to watch that one. Although I did look at it just doesn't look like something I would like.
I don't think it's something that you would like. Liz keeps saying that I need to show it to her, but I'm not going to because it's not a Liz film, and I don't want to get to the end of it and her go, that was shit. I'm like, you're shit.
You're shit.
Go away.
I've got some honourable mentions, I've called it the next crate that floats up on the island full of DVDs. There's quick ones that I want to mention. One of the ones it probably should have been on my list. Mm-hmm. Is The Only Lovers Left Alive by Jim Jarmusch, starring like Tom Hiddleston, Tilda Swinton, and some other people.
Yep.
Slow burn vampire film, fucking one of the most, oh my God. Because these vampires have been living for thousands of years, they're like, they have no time, they have all the time in the world to waste, and that's how the film is cut, and like the music and stuff like that. It's a concept horror up the wazoo. It's so fucking cool. Everything's good about it. And anything Tilda Swinton's in is fucking amazing. Then you get Loki in there as well, playing a jaded musician, suicidal vampire.
He was born
for that
role.
There's no fucking vampirism in it. There is,
but there isn't.
There's not like, there's no one coming to stake them. No. It's like, it's about like, what do you do once you've lived for thousands of years?
Well, that's it. It's like
they've given up, like
the reality of it. Like, okay, you're having some Lost Boys fun right now, but after
they talk about that. That
years.
That happened hundreds of years ago. They don't even bother doing it anymore. They live in a fucking house in the middle of nowhere together. Like,
read a bunch of books.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Fucking great film. Also, obviously, Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I love Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I watched it recently again. Apart from the problematic, fucking
Bill Murray.
creepy Bill Murray, it is so good.
It's a great film.
Like good. Like
See, a lot of our films are very similar. Like once your crate floats up, I'd like to borrow those films on my island.
and
Yeah.
I love Gremlins.
Yeah.
I watched it recently. It's a perfect film.
Yeah.
Like it is. There is nothing wrong with it, and it has that for a kids film because it is a kids film, motherfucker. It is without.
It is a kids film.
It had fucking read along, turn the tape over when you hear the chime books and shit.
I loved those books as a kid.
Like it had that shit. Like that was
Yes.
only marketed to kids.
Yeah.
Like it had that, and this was sitting next to E.T. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
I had one of my staff members was talking to me. I think she said that she watched Gremlins recently and it terrified her. And I'm like, it's a kids movie. She's like, there's no way that's a kids film. And I'm like, it's an 80s kids film.
Yeah.
She's like, what does that even mean?
yeah.
Okay.
I know what it means.
So
Yeah,
first
but
of all,
like
you
you
need to
know
stop
the
talking
mum, the fucking the mum scene. Everyone, not fucking the mum, but the mum like baking scene, and then takes on these 5 gremlins or
Yeah.
whatever, 4. It's one of the raddest mini monster films and scenes
Yeah.
ever.
You know we've never done that as an episode.
Yeah, I keep thinking about it. But
We've done 2.
we did Critters.
Yep.
We
we've
did
done Critters.
Munchies.
Oh, we did Munchies. Oh, Lord, we did
We
Munchies.
did Critters 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gremlins, man, like, whew, you can't go wrong with that film. Like, just everything works. Like, then it comes up in that bit where the girl tells that story about her dad
What the just out of nowhere.
dressing up as Santa. Oh man, and bang, bang. Oh shit. And then the melting scene at the end,
Yeah.
so good. Like,
And it's done by Joe Dante, who did The Howling.
oh, he did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah, but this is like 3 years later, so
Yeah.
he's got his shit together.
Yeah, he
That's
got his
3
shit
years in
together.
the industry.
Yeah.
Oh man, the violence towards the gremlins is hit. A fucking microwave
Oh.
scene, like
Ugh.
caused actual deaths that people put kids in microwaves or whatever, and then in the States like idiots.
Oh, God.
Gremlins, perfect film. And my last mention is Poltergeist.
Yeah.
OG Poltergeist, such a good film. The craft in that is stellar.
Yeah.
Like you cannot create a more like realistic suburban family. Like it's
Yep.
so good. Every part of it. And to the point where they have like, I always think of this, so I never workmen or renovating or anyone comes to my house a bit. We're like, the workmen's like, they're getting their fucking house renovated, and the workman comes in, he's eating her fucking food off of the stove, and then like, he's like, oh, great, your food's great, Mrs. fucking whatever. And I'm like, I think of shit like that all the time. I think of like, the opening with the dude going down the street with his fucking carton of beer and he's taking the kid's bike because
he's not allowed to drive.
or it's just like he got nominated and he doesn't have a car.
Yeah.
Just take the fucking bike. Go get the beer, you wanker. Like, the beer as well, every time I've ever smoked weed in my life, I think of like the dad and the wife. And that's the thing that like really solidified to me that weed isn't a bad thing.
No.
He has these characters. This is Steven Spielberg creating characters, family characters, and it shows that they do smoke some weed at night after their kids go to bed, and it's not a bad thing.
There's nothing wrong with it.
And I'm like, and then there's the rest of the film. Like, you know what I mean? There is every fucking part of that film. There's the ultimate expert.
Yes.
Out of any film that comes in, the ultimate.
Fantastic character choice.
Like, it has the fucking, the before the climax, it has what you think are the experts, and they're fucking.
Well, even then, they're like, oh, yeah, we videotaped this car, like, rolling across the desk over 8 hours. And he's like, oh, that's nice. Opens the door, and it's like chaos in the room. There's a portal.
Yeah.
Like,
the fucking, everything's spinning
like,
around.
it's got that comedy as well. Like, the comedy.
Yeah, it's real light comedy.
That
like
you sort of, you're like, haha, that was funny.
Yeah.
Like,
it's always you're like the kind of things you just want to see happen in films are in there, and then you've got the practical effects, like the bits of like the fucking chairs piling themselves up and shit. And as I said, it doesn't start off as a malicious thing. It's like they're intrigued by it. It's not like haunting or anything like that. It doesn't feel like it's bad. It's just this interesting science-based half of a film. It almost feels like you're watching a documentary about, and it's just wicked. Fucking wicked film. Should have been in my top list. What am I talking about?
that's fine. That's the
But
problem.
it's hard. It's hard to pull down
That is
4
the
films
problem.
as the best films
No,
like you want to watch forever.
I mean, these are desert island films. It doesn't necessarily have to be your favorite film of all time. Because, like, I think there's 2 films on my list that are my favorite of all time. But that's the problem. Like, once you have to start, like, narrowing it down, it's like, what's your favourite film? I couldn't tell you. There's, like,
Oh, yeah, no, can't tell you.
5,
Can't tell you. Fight Club.
10.
Which is one, well, it was definitely, if this wasn't a horror episode, it
Yeah.
would have been Fight Club on my list. It would have been.
okay.
I watched Kingsman again the other day.
Yeah, the first one, not the second one. The second one was
you don't
garbage.
They've changed. There was a bit of. I love the first Kingsman. I think it's a
great.
fucking great film. Apart from my eyes have changed a bit now, and I can see some pretty dodgy, just green screen effects of them being in certain locations and shit.
Sure.
Let that go.
Yep.
They've edited out in the version now the bit, the problematic bit. You know, at the end, the lady, when he has sex with the girl and it shows way too much,
Yeah.
it's not in it anymore.
Oh.
And the bit where she goes like, if you get me out of here, you can do me in the bum. That's not in it anymore.
Right.
They just cut it, and it's perfect now as a film. Because that was the bit I always face-palmed
Yeah.
and wished wasn't in there. It's not in there.
Yeah.
It's gone. And I'm like, they just cut out like the bit where he goes into the room with the model. It shows him closing the door, and then it shows his handler with the video going, "What is that? Oh dear!" And then it just shows one shot of just like the lady looking around, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's all. And I'm
That's
like,
all you need.
That's all you need. You didn't need the gratuitousness of the next scene or saying you're gonna do me in the bum. Like I was like, and it's when it's not in there. Fuck, it's a good film.
Perfect.
Fucking him going crazy to Freebird in that fucking hate church. And I'd forgotten. I remembered it being like, oh, yeah, it's a cool scene. But
Yeah.
And what makes that film is what didn't make the second or the third one is whoever filmed the action, which I think is the same dude who Kick-Ass and stuff like that,
Yeah.
is how he shoots it. He does a lot of this like really strange zoom into the action shots real quick, cut like these like if the cuts were a sound, that would be it, and it's just exciting.
Yeah.
Like you see him like, you know, he's hitting a person with a fucking a bat, and they drop a gun, and he in that same thing he quickly mechanically grabs the gun out of the air.
Yeah.
The gun's upside down in his hand, and he quickly then point blank shoots with the upside down gun into someone's, and you're just like, this is action. This is like choreographing up the wazoo.
Oh, yes.
And it's wicked. And
Well,
you can see that it's a long shot, but it's a fake long shot. You don't care.
No.
Because you're just on for that fucking ride. And it's interesting, that Kingsman film, because it has like, you know, the learning, going through Eggsy's thing of becoming it, going through the school of it. All that shit's so interesting.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
it's fascinating. Well, even then, like, you sort of don't consider that it's, like, I wouldn't necessarily consider it a huge mainstream hit of a film, even though there's 2 more films after that. But there's, like, little toys you can buy now. There's little Nendroids they've released of Kingsy and the...
Eggsy.
Kingsy?
Kingsy?
I don't know. Kingsy, Eggsy, and Colin Farrell.
Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, Cabin in the Woods would be on my 5 list.
Yeah.
Probably Videodrome would be on my 5 list. You know what I mean? Like, so there are, they do definitely get in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fight Club. Watched it recently. It's so good still. Like, it's just, I mean, it has aged a little bit, but like, it still looks wicked.
Yeah. No, it's good. Great film. Yep.
Oh, fuck.
Wow.
Is that the end?
That is the end. I think we've covered all of our desert island films.
We hope you enjoyed that. And remember, leave a comment and you'll be me. Nah. Well, that's going to be it for us. We're going to sign off. Just like before we sign off, we'd like to shout out to the people that interacted with us over, you know, the coming times. Over on the things, people like Adam Kister, Adam Gillespie, Andrew Hector. Old Andrew Hector. He's Video Blood.
Audio Blood.
Audio Blood.
Yep,
Shit.
that's
Wrong name. Patrick Roberts. I actually had one of... Oh, my God. For that, well, someone came into the shop the other day. One of the...
Adam Gillespie.
No. Another one might have been... I can't remember their online name. Yep. They came in, had a little chat. It was wicked.
Love it.
I know that's bad. The name slipped away from me. I'm sorry. You know who you are. We came in. We talked about stuff. What did we talk about? Anyhow, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
You've been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer, the Splatter Chatter. We are available on all major podcasting services and also on the YouTube. But no matter where you choose to consume us, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a review. Just basically I'd actually prefer you to tell your friends to listen to us, or tell them to come into my shop and pick up a free sticker or something like that, or I'll buy a t-shirt, the one t-shirt we have left.
We're getting more done. So if you need larger sizes, I put it up on Facebook. If you need a larger size, come to me before like the end of next week.
Yeah, because we probably won't do like 4XLs or 3XL runs, if you know what I mean. But
No.
if you want to support
Bigger
us,
size.
if you and you want to get those ones, come fucking get us, you motherfuckers. You can interact with us on Facebook and Instagram at TerrorVision Pod. And we got an email, which is terrorvision@gmail.com. If you want to email us stuff like dick pics.
Don't send me dick pics, but thank you. And remember, be kind, rewind.